Alright, welcome to our first video in our first unit of square roots and the Pythagorean theorem. In this lesson, we're going to look at square number and area models. So in this lesson, what we want to remember is that when we take a number and we multiply a number by itself, spell it right, what we're doing is we are squaring the number. So that means if we have the number 4 and we multiply it by itself, 4 times 4, we are squaring that number. Because that's saying that if I were to draw a square where I had 4 boxes down one side and 4 boxes down the other, if I counted all of the boxes inside of that, then it would equal 16. This side I've got 4, this side I've got 4. And if I count all of the boxes inside that square, the answer would be 16. There's another way that we can write this. We can take the number 4, this is what we call the base, and we can raise it to the exponent 2. What that 2 is saying, that's the same thing, it's saying that 4 is being multiplied by itself 2 times. So it's saying the same thing as what we were looking at in this first example. So 4 times 4 equals 16. So that means that 16 is a square number, but it also can be known as a perfect square. Okay, let's look at another example. So we can model this idea of a square number by just taking a look at a square. Ta-da! So in this square, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 units across the top here. And if we count them downwards, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 across the top and 7 down. So we can perform a calculation here to figure out how many square units are inside of the square by going 7 times 7. 7 times 7 is 49. So there would be 49 units squared inside of that square. We could also write that as 7 to the power of 2, or 7 to the exponent 2, because again, that's saying the same thing. 7 times 7 is the same thing as 7 to the power 2. And in both cases, this equals 49 units squared. So when we write the answer as a product of two numbers, well, that's 7 times 7 equals 49. Will be the product of those two numbers. Let's look at another example. In this example, we've got this square picture with this person fishing. Apparently, I like people fishing. We want to find the perimeter of the picture. Now remember, the perimeter is the distance around an object. So all the way around here, we need to figure out what is the distance around it. So in order to figure out the distance around it, what we need to do is figure out the length of a side. So it tells us that the area is 169 centimeters squared. So we need to find a number that when I multiply it by itself, it gives me 169 centimeters. So when we think about what number, when I multiply it by itself, will give me 169. Well, I'd like to start, I know it's going to be over 10, because 10 times 10 would give me 100, and that's not quite enough. You can work your way up. 11 times 11, that wouldn't quite get you that. That would be 121. You could do 12 times 12, you can hear my calculator going, that's 144, not quite there. So then you could do 13 times 13. 13 times 13 is 169. So that means that this side length here, if I didn't draw it out for you, you could figure out that that is 13. And it's a square, so each side needs to be 13. So if I want to find the perimeter is the entire distance around. So that means I have to go 13 plus 13 plus 13 plus 13. Or you could do 13 times 4. But if I add all of those together, 13 plus 13 plus 13 plus 13, this would equal 52. So therefore, the perimeter of the picture is 52 centimeters. So this lesson was about squaring numbers. So really what you need to remember is that when we're squaring the number, we're taking a number and we're multiplying it by itself. Our lessons are going to move on from here, but this is the foundation of the first unit for us. We are squaring a number is a number multiplying by itself. Be patient with me with these videos. This is only the second one I've ever made. I would appreciate some constructive feedback on how to make it better. Thanks.